Medieval torture weapons. In 1184, he founded the Medieval Inquisition. The office of Inquisitor was entrusted exclusively of the Franciscans and the Dominicans. The first inquisitor from Europe, he was Pope Gregory IX. And in Spain, he was Fray Thomas de Torquemada. Be burned at the stake was usually the last stop for the victims of torture, because this form of torture was invariably fatal. Which is a very simple process. Creating a pile of dry wood with the stake in the center to the victim, and then again the fire does all the work. It usually took about half an hour before the victim lost consciousness, but if there was wind and fire, and blowing away from the victim, he or she may sustain up to 2 hours. Both men and women accused for witchcraft were burnt at the stake. Early torturers were found of tying someone to a large wooden wheel that pushed down a rocky slope. The victim would be tied to the wheel and then plunged down through unsearchable fire. Was always a good choice. The wheel itself may also have pigs mounted, theory common in case of treason and aggravated murders. The scavenger's daughter pulled the victim's head down to between the knees, eventually causing the person extreme discomfort and to bleed profusely from the nose and ears. It was used to obtain confession or to punish Protestant heretics. It's an upright sarcophagus with spikes on the inner surfaces. When the victim was inside, the doors were closed. There, the strategically placed spikes would pierce several vital organs. Instead, the victims would linger and bleed to death over several hours. And the spikes were positioned specifically in the eyes. It is used as a public punishment for poachers and prostitutes. This sort of torture was used all over the world. It had an iron collar that had an iron of this rear, which penetrated the cervical vertebrae in a way that the convict died but for asphyxiation. The guillotine was made of a razor-sharp blade attached to a rope. The victim's head was placed in the middle of the frame. As the blade dropped, severing the victim's head from the body, since the decapitation was considered to be an instant and painless event. This was used for bandits and murderers. Pillow is a set of 2 parallel wooden boards clasped together with holes for the neck and wrists. When opened, the victim places his or her head and arms through the holes. The pillow is closed and the victim can't possibly escape. The entire point was to humiliate and shame the victim for her or his crimes. In this method, the victim is hung upside down. The torture would then saw through the victim's bodies until they were completely sawed in half. Most were cut up only in their abdomen to prolong their agony. The Inquisition ended in 1934 and also weapons of torture.